Okay guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to put red lights in your fireplace.
What you did here.
Okay, the first thing we did was drill a hole inside the house from the exterior. After that we ran some copper tape going up the house. And then we drilled 2 holes at the bottom so that we can run the wire underneath. Okay, and then I took a regular LED light and I colored it with a red Sharpie so that I would have a red ember effect. Then I got my dad to solder the wires together so that we could create red lights in the house.
And we're going to feed them through.
Alright, now we're feeding them through.
You can either feed the wires through or feed the lights through. It just so happened that I'm on the outside.
Alright, we're using 2 LEDs. So when you're using 2 LEDs, you need to connect one of each to each other. So one red and black from each light gets together.
Only because they are 6-volt LEDs instead of 12-volt.
And if you're using 12 volts, you only need to use 1. Okay, so now he just covered the shorter one that we cut off so that we didn't have so many wires on the exterior.
And you didn't have bare wires sticking out.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to take the positive and negative and hook it up. Solder it to the tape. And I'm going to have 2 leads that are going down underneath of the house. I'm going to solder at the same time. So I just want to skin this.
The purpose of making this wire shorter is so it doesn't bulk up behind your siding. Then you're going to skin it to remove the plastic coating.
If I can get hold of it. My fingers are there's that one. And that one.
You want to remove about 1/4 inch of the wire coating before you solder it.
Good looking. I'm putting flux, soldering paste or flux, whatever one you want to call it, on the copper tape to make it easier so you don't have to heat it up real high to get the solder to stick to it. And I do the same thing on the end of the wires. That way you don't have to generate a lot of heat to get the solder to stick. And right about now I got to refill the soldering gun. Oh, it's still lit. Oh. I didn't think it was lit. No, there's the wire. I'm gonna have to mark which ones are red and which ones are black here. Easier if it had 3 hands.
And now we're just soldering it on to the copper tape.
See how quick and easy it went on? That flux is like a miracle paste. It makes it go on nice and quick. Well, you don't have to generate a lot of heat to get it to stick. Okay. I can't tell if I got it on there or not.
Just putting a little bit extra on there.
Okay, that's that. Now, so I don't loosen up what I already did, I'm gonna go up a little higher, up a little bit higher, and solder on the wires that's gonna go down through to the basement. It's called tinning the wire. It's already tinned, but I want to put some solder on it so I don't have to have 3 hands to work it.
So you're pre-soldering it, basically.
Yes, it's called tinning the wire. Yeah. That might be a good idea if you take the wire while you got it in your hand. Hold it like that and twist it so it don't unravel on you. Then it makes a nice even stretch. Now I've got the solder here. I'm just going to put a little bit on the wire. If I can hold it still. There, I got it on there. And then that's the red one. Now the black one.
Alright, now he just soldered those right to
That's how
the...
quick it was. Pre-soldered it and then just touch it like that. Just like that. And that does it. And I can do the same thing with these. Might be easier for you to see what I'm doing without all this down here. This is going through to the basement. If I can hit the hole. Going through the basement, through the holes that I drilled in there. Now, I'll do the same thing to this because they're 6-volt LEDs. It may not be the proper way to do it, but we're putting 2 of them together in a series rather than add a larger resistor. Might not be the right way to go, but it functions perfectly.
Yeah, you should have a 12-volt LED if you only want a single.
They were supposed to be 12 volts, but through experience, they sent 6. How much of this you needed over there, Laura? See what they're doing.
Okay, so we're just cutting the excess wire off so that we can solder it the same way we just did below. Okay. So now we need to get 1 from each LED so that we have the right amount.
The right set of wires. Which one is it?
Let me see. Okay.
What, these 2?
There you go. That's 1, and the other one's in your hand.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna solder 1 from each.
Gonna solder them
Together.
Yeah, a black and a red.
1 black and 1 red from each one.
Yeah, so you can hook them in a series. I'm gonna solder those together. this as before. I'm going to put a little bit of soldering paste on there, so it doesn't take much heat to do this. But this wire if you can, hold this for me.
Which one, the red?
Red. I want to hold it up against there. There you go. There it is. That's it. Put a little more paste on there. Little soldering gun here. Yeah. So you can see what happens. You can get a close-up view of what happens here. Push this wire right there. That's it. It's soldered. Make sure when you do it that you keep all your positives on one side and all your negatives on the other.
Again, we're soldering one red and one black from each. Move that out of the way. We're going to cut off the excess that we don't need, and then we'll strip the wire to have some exposed so we can solder that together.
A little bit of flux on there. Flux. A little bit of flux. If you're working by yourself, what you may want to do is move these up out of my way for a second. I put flux on the tape. So what you may want to do if you're working by yourself is just put a little bit of dab of solder on there. As you're working by yourself, now it'll be easy to hold this down into the solder, into the little solder bubbles you just put on there, heat it for a second, and it's done. Same way here. Come on, get on there. There you go. It's done. That's it.
Alright, so all three of them are wired. Now the only thing we have to do is do the same thing for the bottom.
Can't remember which one's the positive.
Okay, so to test them, we're plugging them into a little adapter to see if they work.
What do you got? What do you got?
Yep, they came on.
All three of them? They're lighting?
Yep, they're lighting.
All of them? Okay.
We also did the seal-on lights the same exact way. Okay, thanks for watching, and follow Dollhouse Miniature Madness and tutorials for more DIY. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.